just rejoining the highway back to bloody Meningie. I hope you enjoyed the detour down to the Coorong National Park. Of course, that was just a small glimpse. So if you're some sort of German or Korean or something like that, and you're interested in some good scenery and something a bit different, highly recommended. Past a sign for a place called Chinaman's Well. Not too sure how long that name's going to stand up in the current climate. The thing that keeps hovering into the top of the picture is not a bird, it's the crack in the windscreen. South Australia, they seem to be very keen on people using their headlights 24/7 when they're driving. We keep seeing signs about it, and I think I saw a TV ad about it on the Mount Gambier TV station last night. When you get to Nelson, you get Mount Gambier TV, which means a hot seat comes on at 6 o'clock at night, because it's only 5:30 across the border. So it's a bit topsy-turvy. When you're heading towards Mount Gambier, when you get about 20 k's from town, if you look at your iPhone or your other brand of smartphone, you'll notice that the time switches back half an hour when you get to the different phone tower. So that's a bit of a novelty. If you've got younger people in the car, they might enjoy seeing it change. We're actually going to go into the loop road now. This is an added attraction. We're doing the loop road of the Coorong National Park. Let's hope we can see some pelicans. Once when we were at the zoo, when Luke was about 18 months old or something like that, I was standing there holding him, and we were a few feet away from a pelican, and the pelican actually tried to eat his nose. It snapped its beak out and tried to eat his nose, but I fortunately had the lightning reflexes, and I was able to pull him away so that the pelican didn't get his nose. Otherwise we probably would have been on the news or something that night. It certainly would have hurt. He was only little at the time. This is called the Coorong Loop, not Luke, I was just telling a story about Luke. This is the Coorong Loop Road, and again it goes through some scrubby vegetation. Sort of some saltbushy looking stuff, I think I said that before. And what do you call that kind of stuff? It's the kind of stuff that sheep, I think it's that special kind of stuff that sheep eat that gives their flesh that salty kind of flavour, salt bushy stuff. right on the limits of the Murray River here, which flows all the way from... No, I've forgotten where it starts. Scratch that. But you can look it up in your funkin' waggles. It's a little bit potholy, but this actual cracker dust looking road is actually smoother than the actual bloody road out there. So apart from the odd pothole here and there which you'd expect on a dirt road, it's actually a smoother road than the actual bloody road. Notwithstanding, you probably saw that massive hole there. When you're not, what I'm saying is when you're not going through a pothole, it's actually smoother than the actual road. So the weather's turned really nice now. It's we were driving through a bit of rain before, but now the clouds are gone. We've got the sun coming in through the front window, but it's not too hot. We're assuming that being called the loop road, that this road will take us around back onto the highway at some point. I guess that's what we're assuming, I don't know. Yeah, so eventually we think we'll get back onto the main road. Don't take, you know, if you're touring this part of the world, don't take any of this as official recommendations of how it all works. By no means an expert. This is our first time in the Coorong driving around, so, you know, look it up. Camry's holding up pretty well. It's pretty old now, 18 years old, and when we took it to the service guy, he said it's getting towards the end of its life, but it's going pretty smooth here on this trip. Covered quite a few kilometres the last couple of days, but it's all holding up well, touch wood. Camry is a boring car, but it's a reliable car. I don't think we've ever had a big breakdown with this car, but we had a Camry before that which broke down in Malmesbury, I think it was, or outside Malmesbury, and that was a bit of a disaster. We had to catch the bloody train home and had to walk across a field to get a farmer to come and help us. It was all a bit of a, you know, debacle. But even that Camry was going well until it was actually pretty old at the time. Differences between South Australia and Victoria. So far, you see a lot more dead kangaroos in South Australia than you usually do in Victoria. They've got massive news agencies in this part of the world. You go to the Mount Gambier News Agency and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And so is the one in Colac, which is in Victoria, I admit. But must be a factor in going through the further you go west, the better news agencies you get. It's just a little quirk of psychogeography there. Our own news agency, which is in the middle of the big city, is actually piss weak. And you can never get the Sportsman in there. And yet I went into the Mount Gambier one today and there was 4 copies of the Sportsman. There's about 7 winning posts and even a best bets. So I don't know what that's all about. It seems like the further west you go, the better your news agency. So make of that what you will. The Colac News Agency was actually like one of the best news agencies I've ever seen in my whole life. They got like 1 million rows of magazines. They got like even magazines for Civil War buffs. They got comic books. They got a huge current affairs section. Big stationery thing as well. Oh, look at that. There's the water. I was beginning to wonder if we would actually see any water on this loop road, but here it is. As soon as I said there's the water went out of sight. So, but yeah, I assure you, there is water just over the